Hello, and welcome to this introduction to the op-ed essay assignment in HSC Health Science Ethics 375. In this video, we're going to take a look at what is an op-ed. So what is an op-ed essay in essence, how you should write an op-ed, and then finally, how will the op-ed be graded. Now, the purpose of this assignment, like many of the other assignments in this final project, are to build your communication skills, in this case, to build your writing skills in a very focused argumentative essay supported by evidence. Ideally, you're going to be able to inform the public or advocate for a specific policy, and then from the aspect of this class, we're going to be looking at applying ethics to the health sciences, to a specific health science topic, and really focus in on what is the impact of the health science and the ethics on society, on the community, and potentially on important individuals within the community. So what is an op-ed essay? An op-ed essay is basically an opinion-based essay that is written for the general public. Traditionally and historically, it was a supplement to the editorials written by the editorial board of a newspaper. The opinion-based or the op-ed essays were written by individuals that had expertise in that topic, or at least a vested interest in that topic, and they were trying to convince the reader of a specific viewpoint. So it's written for the general public with the focus on persuasion. The focus is to provide individuals with good quality, accurate evidence that they can use to make their own informed decision. And you're going to do that all within a tight word count. Most op-eds are well under 1,000 words in length, and some of them can be as short as about 300 to 350 words. And so we're going to have a specific word count associated with this assignment, because if you were to present it to or submit it to a publication for getting it out there, submitting it and getting it published, you're going to have to follow their editorial guidelines, which are going to have a very specific word count as well. Now, in preparing to write your op-ed, again, after you've done the research like we've talked about previously, you really want to form your position, and you want to make that position very, very clear to the reader. Like the letter of representative, another assignment within this, you don't want to leave your position ambiguous. You want to be very clear and very specific so that the reader is aware of what it is that you're advocating for, and ultimately what it is that you want the reader to do with the information that you provide them. Now, ideally, in an op-ed, you're going to avoid neutrality. You're going to take a position either in support or against a policy that's coming up, or against or for or against the availability of a specific technology or treatment that's available in some areas, but potentially not available in others. So for instructions as to how to write your op-ed essay, I'm modeling this after the Learning Agency's format for an op-ed, and they basically have defined an ABCDEF structure overview for an op-ed. And so this is probably at least what I've found so far, the best instructions and guidelines for writing an op-ed. And so if we take a look at this, the ABCDEF format basically starts out with attention, goes to billboard, context, demonstrate, equivocate, and forward, all of which probably make no sense at this point, but we're going to look at each one of these in a little bit more detail in order to be able to understand the 6 basic parts of an op-ed essay as you're going through and writing your compelling argument. Now, the first step is the attention. And so in the journalistic community, this is the hook, or what is sometimes referred to as the lead. And so this is within the first few words, a few sentences of your op-ed essay, and this is where you really want to convince your reader that they want to invest the 3, 4, 5 minutes necessary to read your article and be able to kind of invest the effort into trying to understand what the position is that you're trying to make. And so a strong hook or a strong lead is going to be compelling and entice the reader to continue reading your essay as you go through. Now, in many cases, that lead or the attention could be in the form of a story, it could be a question, or it could be recognition of a current event. And in many cases, op-eds are related to ongoing current events or current topics that are in the news. The second part of an op-ed essay is the billboard. Billboard is a little bit journalistic, and so think about this as the background of your essay. This is where you're going to introduce your argument. So again, make it very clear. What is the position that you're taking? What is the position that you're trying to convince the reader to follow? Within the background of the billboard section, you want to answer the simple journalistic questions of who, what, when, where, and why. And so the reader can understand what are the implications of this topic. Why is it important? Who does it impact? Is it timely? What is going on? And so in doing that, into answering those questions, you want to use good quality evidence. Again, provide the information necessary to fight the misinformation, but to educate the reader in order for them to be able to make an informed decision about the position you're presenting within your op-ed essay. Context is the third part, the C associated with it, the third portion of your op-ed essay. And this is why the issue matters. Who is impacted on this? What is the public impact of this? And, because this is an ethics course, what is the ethical reference or the ethical implication of the topic that you're talking about? Why is it kind of ethically appropriate or ethically appropriate to follow the call to action that you're ultimately going to present the reader at another point within this essay? The fourth portion of your op-ed is going to be the demonstrate, and this is basically where you are going to be loading up the evidence that is going to make your compelling argument. And so usually about 3 to 4 paragraphs in length, in which you are going to use evidence to support the position that you're taking. Use evidence to support the ethical reasoning that you're trying to use to convince the reader of the position and to convince the reader to follow the call to action that you're going to be making. The fifth portion is the equivocate. And again, if you Google equivocate or look up the definition, this is basically to be the to be sure portion of your essay. This is where you're going to say, there are some counter arguments. There are other viewpoints associated with this topic. And so let's consider it. If you are taking a position of only presenting your facts, presenting your position of that topic, somebody can come and say, I have a different viewpoint. I have different evidence to support it. And so in the equivocate or the to be sure section, you're basically saying, I recognize that there is alternative viewpoints. And they're, important to consider. But within this section, within the equivocate or the to be sure section of your op-ed, you're going to respectively refute them. There is another position, but that position has problems. And here are some of the problems associated with it. And so strengthen your credibility by saying, I recognize that there are alternative viewpoints, but here is why my viewpoint is superior. Here is why my viewpoint is better supported by the evidence that's available. And this is why you should move forward and follow the call to action that I'm just about to give you. In the forward section, and this is basically the reader looking forward beyond the op-ed, and so you can think about this as the concluding paragraph or the conclusion of your op-ed essay. And in this, again, be very, very clear in restating your position. Remind the reader what it is that you are trying to convince them of. Provide them with a call to action. And so how do you want the reader to act after they have read your essay? What do you want them to do? And it may simply be that you want them to really consider it, or it could be that you want them to reach out to their own elected officials in order to support legislation or be against legislation that is being considered. But the most important thing is that you want to provide the reader with compelling information so that they can think about it in order to make their own informed decision. Now, in terms of the criteria associated with this assignment, writing style tips, think about this as being short sentences and paragraphs. The main focus of this op-ed essay is going to be the general public. And these are individuals that do not necessarily have the same amount of background and training on the topic that you have in general, and they definitely don't have the additional research knowledge that you gained by learning more about your topic. And so focused in on writing short sentences and paragraphs force you to become clear and concise. Avoid jargon. I think we've all read scientific papers that are very informative, but very difficult to work with because we don't know the language. We don't know what is the context of some of the words they're using because they're using jargon. They're using scientific speech, or they're using speech within that discipline or within that community. And in addition, to avoid the jargon, you may need to be able to explain key terms. I can almost guarantee your reader is probably not going to Google things that they're not aware of. They're not going to look up the definition of things. They're not going to look for additional evidence to explain something that you haven't explained clearly within your op-ed. In general, if a reader comes across a lot of jargon, a lot of stuff that they don't understand, they're probably going to bail on the op-ed. They're not going to continue going on just because it makes them feel bad. I don't understand this, so why should I spend my time trying to read something that I don't understand? And so try to communicate that information to a general public that may not have the expertise, the education, and the experience, and definitely not the research on the topic that you have as you're going through. Now, in terms of evidence and sources, again, you're normally not going to use references within the op-ed, but many of the publishers want to see your references in order to be able to do the fact-checking. And so for this assignment, a minimum of 3 sources. These could be governmental sources, professional organization, or academic sources. So, something like a scientific paper, or it could be a position of a professional organization, or it could be, information coming out of a government website like the NIH or potentially the CDC or the FDA. They need to be good, credible, reliable sources of information. So no blogs, no Wikipedia, no kind of sources like that. Now, in terms of citations, I'm looking at the use of in-text citations. Again, this is used for fact-checking and normally isn't included when a op-ed is published for the general population to read. But it's important to be able to demonstrate and show that you have done the research, that there is evidence supporting your point and your position, and making it clear where that information is coming from. Now, I don't have a clear reference style that I feel is acceptable. Every discipline seems to have a reference style that their students use, and so use a reference style that is comfortable for you, that potentially you've used in other classes, but ideally it should have the key information, the authors, the year, the title, the journal, or at least the source, and then enough information to be able to find that. And so be able to, provide the web link, the URL, to be able to provide the publication information if you're using a scientific journal article. In terms of formatting requirements, again, this is a paper that is designed to be clear and concise, and so we're going to have a very tight word limit, and the goal is going to be 500 to 750 words in length. Now, in order to kind of assist me in providing you with feedback, I want it to be double-spaced, 10 to 12-point font, and 1-inch margins. That just gives me more space to be able to leave comments on the draft of your op-ed essay. Now, in terms of final advice for this assignment, keep in mind that even though your classmates are going to be reading your paper, you're writing for a general audience. You're writing for an audience that does not necessarily have a college-level health science-related background. And so write in ways, avoid the jargon, explain the key terms so that the reader is going to be able to understand what is the position and what are the points you're trying to make within your op-ed. You want to be persuasive, but not academic. Again, provide a compelling argument. Support that argument with evidence, but make it available and accessible for a general audience. So avoid the jargon, avoid the long run-on sentences. Make it very clear, revise it for clarity, so that it is very easy to read for a member of the general public. Now, in terms of how the op-ed is going to be graded, again, I basically went through for the criteria, and so the A, B, C, D, E, E, F kind of format associated with the op-ed from the learning agency, gone through, and again, breaking it down from a novice level, basic level, to meets criteria and exceeds criteria for each of the different portions of the op-ed, with a little bit of an explanation as to what I think exceeds criteria means versus a novice level. In addition to that, some of the kind of formatting criteria in terms of spelling and grammar, organization, references, and word count. And so like the other assignments within the course, please review the written instructions for the assignment, review the rubric, and ultimately grade your own assignment against the rubric to give yourself some feedback before you submit it for a grade in at least a draft form later on within the semester. As always, if you've got any questions about this assignment or any other assignment within the course, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. I'm here to support your success this semester. Thank you and have a great day.